Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. We're from Daskel Laboratory and we're here to give you a brief explanation of our Model 3, which discuss about program flow control. Before we start, let me introduce myself. My name is Mumanirma Ramadhani with my code assistant as FLO or Flow. The topic that we're going to discuss today consists of three topics, which is logic and relational, if-else, and also switch case. For the basic theory of logic and relational consists of Boolean operations, which are logical operations that only returns true or false. The Boolean data type requires the use of the stdbol.h header. This header in the C language is used to perform operations related to Boolean expressions. For the Boolean operators instead, we have examples. If A equals to B, then it has the condition where a value is true if A is the same as B. And for A is less than B, then it has the condition where a value is true if the value of A is less than B. If A is less or equal to B, then it has the condition where a value is true if the value of A is less or equal to B. If A is more than B, then it has the condition where a value is true if the value of A is more than B. And also, if A is more or equal to B, then it has the condition where a value is true if the value of A is more or equal to B. And in here, if A exclamation mark equals B, which means A is not the same as B, then it has the condition where a value is true if the value of A is not the same as B. And here we're going to give an example of logical operations using AND, OR, and XOR with two Boolean values. And here we're using A and B values. For A and B, if we use both of them with the value of false, then for A and B is going to have the value of false, and A or B is going to also have the value of false, and A XOR B is also going to have the value of false. If A has a value of false, but B has the value of true instead, then for A and B, it'll still have the value of false, but for A or B, it's going to have the value of true, and for A or B, is going to have the value of true. If A is the one that has the value of true, but B has the value of false, then for A and B will have the value of false, A or B will also have the value of true, and A or B will have the value of true. If both of them have the value of true, like A and B here, then A and B will have the value of true, A XOR B will have the value of true, but for A XOR B will have the value of false. The operator for AND, we use double AND signs, and for operator NOT, we use the exclamation mark. For operator OR, we use the double vertical signs. And then for operator XOR, we use the point up sign. For the continued explanation for if-else is going to be continued by my friend Radif.
Please allow me to continue. Hello everyone, my name is Radif Permana. You can call me Radif. And my code assistant is RAR or RAR. So here we have the basic theory of if-else. If comment is a branching type that runs an action if the given condition returns true. So that means if the given condition returns false, it will run another action if available. If-else comment is only used if there is only one condition needs to get assessed. Meanwhile, if-else, else-if is used when there are two or more conditions. For the next, we have the basic structure of if-else. Okay, here we have the syntax itself, if, and condition, and action. If the condition here give out the returns true, it will run the action. Next, we have else-if, condition, and action. For the last, we have else and action. Okay, here we have the example of if-else. In this code, we have if height more than equal to 140. If this condition give out the returns of true, it will give output of valid and please enter. The other way, if the condition here not true or false, it will run the last action. It will be not valid. Okay, here we have an example of one action if-else program. In this program, is supposed to tell you is it odd or even number by inputting a number. In this if-else, we have the condition of number modulo by 2, the result is supposed to be 0. If the result is not 0, it will give a return of false. For the example here, if we input an 8, it should be output even number because 8 is even number. If we input an odd number, it should give a result of odd number. For the example, if we input 7, it should be it should give output of odd number. Okay, for the last thing, we have to action if-else program. In this program, it have two conditions that should be met to give out the result of true. If one condition is not true, it should give the result of false because we have operator AND here. In operator AND, we need to get true of these two conditions to get the result of true. For the example, if we enter the username and password right, it should give the output of login success. Next, if we input the one condition is wrong, it should give us the output of login failed because one condition is false.
Let me continue. After we are talking about if-else conditions or if-else functions, we are going to talk about switch case function. Switch case is a type of branching that allows for several conditions at the same time. There are three commands in switch case. The switch that receive a variable inputted by user and the value to be checked or evaluated with a value in the case. Case contain one or more commands that will be executed if the values in the switch are met. The vault command that will be executed if there is no other option matches the value in the switch. The difference between if-else and switch case is the structure and how the value are evaluated. In the switch case command, there are other commands that fills the one switch case. It's an action command and a break command. So inside the switch case, we have a case, and inside the case, we have an action and a break. The action is the stack of commands that needs to be executed if the requirements inside the case are met. And the break that will be terminate the program inside the case or the action if the requirement are met. So if we use the switch case, we just use if and else. In switch case, we only use case and case and case. So the value that will be evaluated is the value that next to the case. And the difference in if, else, and switch case is that you need a break command because if you don't have it, the program will continue to execute the other case even your minimum requirement are met. Switch case works by evaluating the value that were assigned or inputted by the user, and the value will be checked on the case 1 or case char A and the vault. So assume that we have a value 1. So the value 1 will be executed because the case 1 will be executed because 1 is equal to 1. So the action inside the case 1 will be executed, and then we have a break. So the program will execute the action, only the action 1. There is another example. Assume that we have a case string A, a case char A. The value assigned in the integer char variable, because 1 is not equal to A, so the case 1 will be not going to get executed, and then we are going to the case A, and because A is equal to A, the program inside the case A will will be get executed, and there's a break. So the command inside of the vault will not going to get executed. Well, for the second, well, for the third example, assume that we have a value neither 1 nor a. Let's take an example of 2. We have a value 2 inside a variable integer. So 1 is not equal to 2, and case char A is not equal to 2. So case 1 and case char A will be not get executed. So it's going to get the vault action. So because 2 is not same as 1 and char A, it's going to get the vault, and the action inside the vault case will get executed. After we are talking about the switch case theory, we are going to talk about switch case application inside the C program or C programming language. Let's execute the program. We got an attendance checker. It's an employee menu and admin menu. So if we input an employee menu, it's going to give an output. This is an employee menu. Please choose one menu to continue. If we choose 2, this is an admin menu. Please choose one menu to continue. And let's input 3. When there's no option for number 3, wrong choice, please try again. So if we assign number 1 and 2, it gives you an output because we have assigned case 1 and case 2 inside the program, but not for case 3 and other because we haven't assigned the case 3 yet. So this is the structure of the program. This is the case 1, case 2, and the vault. So we have an input value that we inputted on, please input some value, and the value will get evaluated in the switch input and checks for the requirement. So if we input 1, the requirement are met. So it's going to give you an output. This is an employee menu. Please choose one menu to continue. If we input 2, the case 2 will be executed because case 2 met the requirement, even the case 1 isn't. And if we input 3, it's going to give you a wrong choice. Please try again because there's no case 3 inside of this. So previously I told you that you need a break. Let's take an example. If we remove the break command here, and if else you don't need a break command, but in switch case you need it. Because without it, even the program was right, like you inputted the case 1. Yes, you got the case, you had print the case 1, but you also print the commands inside the case 2 and the vault. Let's take a run. Here we go. Employee menu. Yes, this is an employee menu, but it gives you another output, like please choose one menu to continue. This is an admin menu. Please choose one menu to continue. Wrong choice, please try again. So let's match with the previous menu. Okay, please choose one menu to continue. Is the case 1. Okay, this is right, but this is an admin menu. So this program without break command is going to execute the case 2 and the vault commands. So this is why you need a break command inside the switch case.